Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lily. I am so happy you're here with me. In today's video, I am going to work on a trash to treasure project. You know how much I love to upcycle, repurpose, and give things a second chance. I feel that a lot of trash has potential, and today is no exception. I am going to take some old marker and pen parts, and I am going to incorporate them as beads into junk journal charms. Here is one of them. Look at how stinking cute that is. Can you tell which ones are the marker and pen parts? You can't tell. No one's ever going to know. It's going to be our little secret. But look here. This one right here, this larger bead came from an old marker and I embellished with some washi tape. This one came from from an old pen that just dried up, and then I also added some washi tape and then strung with some of the beads from my own stash. Look at how stinking cute it is. And then I just attached it to a bowl clip. And so they are ready to be strung from the spines of junk journals. I recently finished 12 junk journals. I will have a video soon so that you can see what those 12 are. But I have two here that I'm going to give you a sneak peek so you can see how beautiful these look on the spines. Okay, so all I did is I took the bowl clip and then I attached it right here to the spine. I like it because it makes it so that they are removable, and then you just kind of get in there and clip it again. And here is how they look. Oh my gosh, isn't that so cute? I just love it. They look so junky. And I especially love that I was able to repurpose those old pen and marker parts. Here is a sneak peek at one of the junk journal covers. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. This one is my favorite. Let me show you my second favorite. This is my second favorite junk journal cover. I just love the hot pink. I love the animal print and all of those gold embellishments. I just love everything about this journal. And here is a charm that I made for this one. And I have coordinating colored beads so that everything looks cohesive. But look at how beautiful this is. And the hot pink hemp thread or hemp twine. Oh my gosh, and look at these. Look at how gorgeous these upcycled pen parts look. Okay, we're gonna flip the camera over there at the Crafty Loft so that you can get a close look at all of the things that I am going to use to create these junk journal charms. Gather your supplies. I'd love for you to craft along with me. All you will need are an assortment of beads, and maybe you have some random leftover pen parts that we can use to thread into the junk journal charms. And then maybe a bowl clip or a paper clip, whatever you have. Gather your supplies, shop your stash, and I will meet you at the Crafty Loft so we can get working. Let's go. I began to collect marker parts and pen parts a while back, and they were kind of just all over the place. And I dedicated an acrylic drawer for all of these random bits and pieces. So when I have markers and pens that dry out, I save all those bits and pieces. I didn't know what I was going to do with them until just recently when the light bulb went on, and I thought, hey, I could use them as beads in junk journal charms. So don't sleep on the parts. Save. Everything has a purpose. I think I've said that so many times. Everything has potential is what I meant. Okay, so let me show you one that I've already made, and I used just a random collection of beads from my stash. And I only pulled out a few drawers to work with because it can get overwhelming, and I didn't want, I want this to be fun and enjoyable. So I only grabbed a few, and see how I have strung the pen parts and the marker parts and just incorporated them, made them part of the charm. No one will ever know. This is going to be your secret and my secret. No one's ever going to know where these came from. But you know what? When they figure it out, they're going to love it. They're going to think that you are a genius for upcycling things that were destined for the trash. So this is a true trash to treasure project. And you know, because I've mentioned it so many times, trash to treasure is my jam. Repurposing, upcycling things that are meant for the garbage after, they've served their purpose. That is my gem, giving something a second life. So this is another trash to treasure gem. And it was also a great way to use washi tape. So you could see how there are different types of washi tape that I have used. And I recommend using sticky washi tape. The stickier, the better. And I say that because it will be so much easier to work with if your washi tape is really sticky. If it's not sticky, then you can use glue, and I'm going to show you both methods. But I still use glue anyway because I don't want the washi tape to unravel. So this is a great excuse to use up your washi tape because I have hordes and hordes of washi tape, and I'm going to use some that I received in Happy Mail because it's beautiful and it has gold foil. I've taken a bull clip and I've strung some colorful hemp thread. And I just took 2 long strands of the hemp twine and then tied a knot. I did that twice so that I could have 4 dangly strings. I'm going to grab one of my pen parts. These are so pretty because they are transparent. These were beautiful colored pens, and some of them dried out, and so I repurposed the little pen parts. Don't cut the washi tape off because it's easier to just roll the bead against the washi tape. Oh my gosh, look at that. I have gone through yet another roll of washi tape. I get so excited when I use up washi tape because it just means that I'm using my items and I'm not hoarding them as much. I still hoard, just not as much. So notice here, this is a really sticky washi tape, but I'm adding a little bit of the white glue just to make sure that it doesn't unravel. And look at how pretty now that I've added the washi tape. It has taken your basic pen part and it has elevated with the washi tape. So I love this. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I used a washi tape. That was one of my favorites. I think that's why I went through it so quickly, and I received that in Happy Mail. So thank you. Here is another washi tape. This one is somewhat sticky. I struggled with it a little bit trying to get it to stick to the plastic of the pen part. But just be patient, use some glue, hold it down a little bit, and then roll it. The easiest way to do it, you kind of have to hold it in place, especially that end. But once you wrap it around, then it sticks to itself. You might have to try a couple times like I did, but it is well worth it because you've now created a tiny little upcycled plastic bead. And these turned out so, so cute. So see how I've done this a couple of times? That's why I highly recommend that you use a sticky washi tape. And if you use white glue, it'll roll a little bit on that plastic, but glue stick actually works better because it's like gummier and it actually grabs onto that plastic a little bit better. But practice until you find the best way or the method that works for you. And see how I'm sealing it there with a little bit of glue on that edge. So cute. And I'm matching the width of the washi tape to the marker part or the pen part. And it's kind of divided. It has a little ridge right in the center. And so I'm just lining it up, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to grab even thinner washi tape to decorate the other half of this little bead. My favorite washi tapes have been the ones with the gold foil. I love gold foil on everything, including washi tape. Add a little bit of that white glue, and you only need a tiny amount of washi tape, but you can wrap it around as many times as you want, especially if you want a more dimensional, like a more raised look, then you can wrap it a few more times. But it doesn't take a lot of washi tape. And then I held it still for just a moment, just to make sure that it grabbed. And there you go. Voila! Look at how cute that is. And I'm going to reach over and grab thin washi tape so that I can then wrap or use it on that upper half of the plastic bead. And I love my heart washi. This thin washi is my favorite, and it's perfect. The perfect width for that top half. Do you see how it has that little ridge there? And again, I'm just going to make sure, and this one was nice and sticky, so I'm just going to wrap it around a couple of times, add a little bit of glue so that it stays attached permanently, and then just wrap it around. Now, the longer pen parts, these are like the tips of them and maybe the little nibs, but the barrels I didn't save, and because they were really long. In hindsight, I should have saved the longer barrels because I can always cut them down. I haven't tried, but when I come across more dried up markers, because I know I have a few, I just have to go through my markers and my pens. I will also try repurposing the longer part, the barrel. So that's another challenge that I am happy to take on. But look at how cute this looks. Those little hearts just add the perfect little touch. Use your favorite washies. Use whatever washi you want to create your own upcycled beads. This one here, I did have to, I had to go back and do it a couple of times. And I don't know if you can tell, but I did the heart upside down. Because of the way that I'm going to string it, the heart is going to be upside down. But I didn't realize that at the moment. I guess it really doesn't matter. It's going to look cute regardless. At the very end, I am going to have a slideshow for you so that you can see how they look dangling from the spines, because I did make all 12 junk journal charms. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I know I showed you a couple at the very beginning of the video, but at the very end, so don't go away, don't go fast forwarding just yet. I'll show you what they all look like when they're just side by side. They look so good. I know when you first start, you know, when I first started, I thought they were going to be kind of whack. I wasn't sure. I wasn't really happy with the way it was turning out. So the very first one that I did, actually took it apart. I didn't like the color combinations that I was using. And by the time I got to this point, I made sure that my beads were somewhat coordinated. I didn't overthink it. I knew I just wanted them to be vibrant, colorful, and I also want them to look junky, but I want them to be somewhat cohesive. And so that's what I did. I have these beads, these tiny little cubed beads with letters. And I've had these for a long time. I don't know. I don't remember where I got them. But it's been a minute. And these are perfect for creating sentiments, very, meaningful words. And that is what I am going to do. So I pulled out LOVE to create the word love. And then in others, you'll see towards the end, I spelled out the word joy and also kind. And it's really whatever little lettered cube beads that I would pull out. Those are the words. So if KIND came out first, I would spell kind. So because there's a lot of beads in that jar. You could see my jar off on the right hand side. It is an old glass pumpkin jar. And when I say old, I mean old. So we're going to have a squirrel moment right now. That clear pumpkin jar is a cookie jar that I purchased when my daughter Devin, who will be 35 years old this year, when she had her quinceañera 20 years ago, you guys. Oh my, I can't believe that. My children are growing up so fast. So when I had Devin's quinceañera, her quinceañera theme, which is her 15th birthday party. I'll come back to that. I want to show you really quick here what I'm doing is I'm doing a double knot. And I used a tiny little seed bead at the bottom to kind of keep all of the beads in order. And then when I did the double knot, it keeps the beads from sliding out. So I do large beads, and then I do smaller beads, and or a seed bead, which has a smaller little hole. And then I double knot it to prevent it from sliding through. I have used crimp beads in the past, but I only have the tiny little crimp beads, and I don't have the slightly larger ones. And so I chose to do the double knots instead. But you can use crimp beads or do the double knots, whatever you prefer. So yes, 20 years ago, we celebrated Devon's quinceañera, and she wanted a Cinderella theme. And so I had these glass pumpkin cookie jars as centerpieces, and they were decorated with fairy lights and candles. And on every single table, I probably had about 30 centerpieces. This is one of those, you guys. It's 20 years old. At the time, I discovered them I came across them at Target. And I went to Target, but they only had a handful, maybe 5. I went to every single Target in Utah until I completed the 30 pumpkins that I needed for her quinceañera. And this is one of them. And I think my sister still has hers. I know that my daughters still have theirs. And so, yeah. And so that is what holds all of these wooden beads. It's so cute. Wow, I can't believe that was 20 years ago. I also had a quinceañera for my oldest daughter, who just turned 37 years old this year. And then my youngest daughter, Cayenne, we did not do a quinceañera for her. We wanted to, but we just didn't. And it breaks my heart that we didn't celebrate her quinceañera. She'll be 30 years old this year. But do you know what I did? I gave her the wedding of her dreams. She had a fairy tale wedding, which was kind of inspired by Beauty and the Beast. The setting was amazing, and I hope that made up for for me not having her quinceañera. But oh, she had such a beautiful wedding too. So her wedding was beautiful. Devon's quinceañera was beautiful. DeRose's quinceañera was amazing. So yes, it's what we do for our kids, right? Okay, back to the project at hand. You guys know how I love going off on tangents. The beads that I'm using are from my stash, and it's a collection of beads from years and years of collecting. Some of them are inexpensive beads from Dollar Tree, and they're kind of mixed all. I kind of try to coordinate them and keep like beads together. And so that's why you'll see my wooden beads in that pumpkin jar, and then these other opal looking beads. So most of those are from Dollar Tree. The ones that are in those like ocean and sea colors, like coral, turquoise, and the aquamarine, those were from a kit that I bought at Hobby Lobby. And then other beads are from Joann's. The bead parts, the findings, those I loved buying at Joann's. They had such a great selection of findings, like bead caps, and that's where I would buy my crimper beads. And so now that they're no longer going to be around, which is so sad, I will have to find other places to buy my little findings. But I'm not going to be buying beads for a long time. I have a large stash of beads. What you see here on the screen is only, a couple drawers that I pulled out, but I have 2 medium-sized totes that are full of beads. And so, but I only grabbed a couple. And then playing or adding these pen parts to it, it just made it look just really fun and colorful and vibrant, and that's what I wanted. And then I had these random roses that were just kind of mixed in with the other beads. But these were so fun. Some are plastic, some are glass, some are acrylic. And coordinating them, I just love how they turned out. Watch when we get to the end. Seeing them side by side is so pretty. So beautiful. And yeah. So I hope that you find random things in your house and put them to use. These are things, like I said, that I've been collecting and I didn't know what I was going to do with them. But I knew that eventually I'd have an idea. Do you want to know what else I'm collecting? I'm collecting milk caps. And you have the milk caps, or like orange juice caps. I like those because they're orange. And then some of the milk caps, are, they're different colors. You get pink caps, blue, green, depending on the type of milk that you purchase. And then I also keep the half and half caps. Those are smaller. They're, I think, about ½ inch. Anyway, I'm saving all of those caps. And I've asked my daughters and my mother to please save the caps for me. So I give them a good wash. And then I have a separate bin for those. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the milk caps or the juice caps, but I know that something will come up. And I really like them because they're nice and colorful. Look at how beautiful, now that you see them all together, the 4 strands and beaded up. To me, they look really beautiful, and they look junky, which I also wanted. I want them to look junky. I want them to look like they were created from miscellaneous parts, almost like the assemblage necklaces that you see. This is like an assemblage type of junk journal charm. And look at how beautiful it looks, just dangling from one of the spines. I have, by the way, completed the 12 junk journals, and I will have a video very soon doing a quick flip through and showing you all of the 12. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you all of the slides, the pictures that I took of the spines and the way the charms look side by side. My favorite journal cover is this hot pink one with the animal print. Oh my gosh, I love this one so much. And look at how beautiful the charm looks. Oh, that one's my favorite. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here with me and joining me as I do another junk journal supply or junk journal charm video, a trash to treasure video. Look at all of these charms side by side. I will leave you so you can enjoy the slideshow. You guys are awesome, and I will see you next time. Bye.